think we're good to go, dude. We're good to
Okay.
go.
All righty.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. Let's see. I work overnight, so I'm kind of jet lagged half the week. So I'm awake now. So weird sleep schedule.
That's great. So I'm actually kind of excited to have you on today
Thank you
because
for having
you've
me.
been recommended by several people. Like, you gotta talk to this guy, Brian. You gotta talk to this guy, Brian. I mean, his shit is what started, this whole, the indie trading card scene. You're kind of credited with that. It's like there was a few indie cards globally. There's some in Germany, some in England, stuff like that. But they're far and few between. Then you come out with your set, and all of a sudden, everybody now wants to have an indie card set. I mean, you started with the one with PWG, but how did it all happen? How did that start?
Well, PWG kind of stopped doing graphic design. I don't know if you noticed, like around 2011, 2010, they just kind of just stopped doing it and just relying on the whole Twitter thing, right? So at the time, I just got out of college and I just taken this Photoshop class, and I was just kind of like, I want to kind of hone some skills. So, every show I would do a graphic design thing and it would just kind of get viral. And then Bola happened around 2014, and I made like individual graphics for each, person. And that kind of spread to the next year. And then the next year was like, okay, what do I do this year in terms of like design for each wrestler, put it online.
And you were doing
Cody
designs.
Rhodes.
You were doing designs just for the website, right?
Just for fun, just because like, PWG was not doing anything. They hardly had any graphic design until like a DVD would come out. So they were not doing anything at all. So I was just doing it, and it would get viral and would get people excited for the shows, and it kind of went from there. Cody Rhodes comes with the list in 2016. Remember that?
Yep.
With the list.
Mm-hmm.
So he mentions PWG and Bola. So I was like, oh, great. Like, he's coming to Bola. I'm going to find a Dusty Rhodes shirt to wear. So I type in Dusty Rhodes shirt on Google. All of a sudden, all this weird stuff comes up. You know how with Google and the weird hashtags
Sure.
and all those things. The WCW cards pop up from 1990. Oh, I remember those cards from 90, and everything just started clicking in my head. And then I was like, I can do this with the current guys in Bola, do this, and then those will be my graphics for each guy this year. And then all of a sudden, it got viral. A couple weeks later, I get this email from my friend now. His name is Chris Smith, and he's the guy who prints the cards in Arkansas. He reaches out to me, and he's like, I got this extra card stock. We can print them out for free, and you can hand them out at the shows at Bola for 2016. And I was like, yeah, if you could provide me that, that'd be amazing. So he did it for free for me.
So your investment is just your time now in designing and actually teaching yourself graphics.
Yeah, so this was all 2016, all just like on a whim. And I was like, if you can do this for free, and he did. If you notice the original 2016 cards, I don't know if you have them, but
I've never had them. Never had.
Yeah, they're that rare. They're that rare. It's a very thin card stock compared to like the normal stock we would move on to, because he just had extra of it, so that's why he was able to print it for free. So then, next thing you know, Michael from High Spots is at the shows. He comes up to me. He's like, "This is exactly what I've been looking for these, the gift boxes they do each month. They're the High Spot subscription boxes."
Yep.
So we worked out this deal where, I gave him all, I gave him the designs because I was had them out for free because I'm not trying to sell them. That's copyright, all that kind of thing. So High Spots actually, I guess, is contracted with PWG, so they're able to, do that for them, and that's why they have the shirts and all the posters and stuff every time on highspots.com. So I worked out a deal with them where for the next couple of years, I'll just print out of pocket, like pay out of pocket the ones that go out to the fans for free. And then High Spots will just pay for how many they want to put together and the cost or whatever. And they'll print their own for their boxes. And that's the way it went. So for the next 2 years, we kind of had this working relationship where I would hook up the fans at the shows. I would get free drinks or whatever because, they for
worth it.
Worth it, So I would be a little out of pocket, but at the end of the day, like, it was still worth, giving it to the fans and stuff. And then High Spots had this great marketing thing they had, and it just worked out for the next 2 years.
So you did it in 2016, 17, and 18?
Mm-hmm.
And haven't done it since?
They didn't want to do it last year. I don't know what the reasoning was, but with, PWG now, there's not even a Bola this year. So maybe it was just kind of meant to be.
Yeah.
I always, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I think with the whole COVID thing, I think next year it'll just be just as more and much more important. So I think with that in mind, maybe they'll bring the cards back. I don't know. But I went on to, I reached out to the other promoters, and I ended up working with AAW for their Jim Lynam tournament. And then I reached out to GCW, and now I'm working with GCW a lot more. So that's been really cool. So it's been really cool to like actually be open with promoters and stuff. Because with the whole thing with PWG, it was just like, I was talking with Michael from High Spots the whole time. I never talk with Dragon, because Super Dragon is just this elusive figure that you can't really get a hold of. Yeah. So it's really cool that I could talk to Brett Lauderdale, Dr. Keith, Danny Daniels, all those people. So it's cool to be open with these promoters and work with them and stuff like that now.
So your relationship with PWG has opened the door for other promotions for you, being friends with
Pretty
these
much,
people?
yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
how did your relationship build with PWG? Like, were you just a fan going to the shows and decided to go ahead and do graphics one time?
Yeah, I mean, no one else was doing it, and I just posted it on Twitter, and it just went viral. So from there, I was just like, okay, if people want it, I'm gonna just keep making it, all these graphics and stuff. And then that led to the cards, and then all these people coming up to me and like, are you gonna do the cards next year? Are you gonna do the cards next year? So it went from there. And then once 2018 hit, I was like, okay, I did Bola 3 times. My new goal was spring break. So, my buddy was good friends with Brett Lauderdale. He sweet talked Brett Lauderdale. We showed him some samples, and it rolled from there. And then that's where you get the spring break cards from last year. So those were highly successful as well.
I haven't seen the other cards, and I've barely seen because we at WTC kind of stopped collecting the mid 2000s. Well, me personally, my partner David still collects the base sets when he can. Usually, I would get sent product from like Tops or whoever, and I'd crack them open, see, have the images, and then send him the base set so he can have it. But I cherish going after indies cards, and I really kind of regret not being part of the whole this resurgence now. So like that, because now it makes me want to go out and collect again because I wasn't collecting at the time. I knew nothing about them. So I would have definitely gotten them had I known if I was collecting at that time. I don't even know where to go to get them if I wanted to. But it just seems so cool that a lot of independents are putting out trading cards now. Like, why trading cards? Why do you think they're putting out trading cards? Is it easy to make or easy to do?
I think not necessarily easy to, I mean, yeah, I have to come up with designs and stuff, but I think the cost is really worth it. And then, something about down the line when, like, I've noticed a lot of these people that are trying to resell the cards, especially from 2016, you get really lucky with a guy like a Ricochet. You know what I mean? Where you didn't know where he was going to be in 2016. All of a sudden, he's on WWTV, and you see his card is worth like $100 now or something.
Yeah.
The ones that I made.
Yeah.
So I think it's just this idea that I think indie promoters want to make a quick buck, which is fine, but also just like you never know with some of these guys you have on your roster, and all of a sudden you can have like this card that's been associated with your promotion all these years ago, kind of thing. I think that also is kind of appealing too, because like I think GCW is going to have some guys that are going to be like that in a couple of years.
Yeah.
The way that PWG had it. So.
Yeah, it's just there's and outside of those, there's other companies that are doing them as well. I found out as well. They're doing their own cards.
Yeah, it was people quote me or put me as like the source of the boom, but I don't know. Like I've seen some other cards before that, like you mentioned, but I guess if you do it so well enough, that's when everyone wants to start copying it. And I think the fact that it was PWG and like High Spots picked up on it quick, it just kind of like picked up really fast. And I think that's why everyone kind of picked up on it in 2016.
Yeah, it's a fantastic boom all of a sudden, and I'm not sure why the interest now as opposed like it's not like it's unheard of. They've done them in the 90s. In the early 2000s, there was a few independent cards that were done, but now all of a sudden in the last 5 years or so, I think it's just been like this big boom. And I think you're right because it's I think it's a cheaper way to kind of promote yourself.
Exactly.
Obviously, you want people to kind of know your promotion. You're trying to promote your ticket sales and whatnot. But it's such a cool thing to see now. It's like that. When you were doing your first card sets, what motivated you to do that? Obviously, you said you did a Google search. You found some old WCW cards. I think they're based off the '91 Impulse, are they not?
Yeah, 91, and then some of the backsides I mixed. I kind of swapped them because I kind of wanted to mix and match, like the 91 and 92, I think it was, or around that era. And just something about those designs, like something about the nostalgic feel. Because even when like I ran into people that I hadn't seen in a while at Bola, and they see the cards, they're like, "Oh my God, that's my childhood." Yeah. So it's all about that nostalgia feel. That's why I kind of went with that nostalgia, not necessarily parody, but like paying homage kind of thing. And I think that really, like, especially 5 years ago, like, people were doing the parody thing a lot, especially with the shirts and stuff. And I think it still sells now, but not nearly as much. But I feel like 2016 was like the right time for that kind of nostalgia, because it just set it off, and everyone just fell in love. You know what I mean? That's why I did the 2017 almost the same, but it's the 91 version with the black and the stars around it.
Those are both the same year, by the way.
Oh, the same year.
Yeah, both.
Okay.
One is a championship marketing set, and one's an Impel set, both from 1991.
Yeah. Okay.
So two different companies. Like, so what did
everyone loves them.
Did you take a card and just like edit out the cards and make a template yourself?
I just basically recreated it. I studied it, and I was like, okay, I know what they did. This is a different layer, and That's, I'm not exactly like a good illustrator. I can't really draw well, but I'm good at designing. Designing is like my thing. And like, I watch a lot of like Western movies, Sergio Leone, that kind of thing. And it shows you how to frame things. And I think if you frame things correctly, you get the great kind of visual. You don't necessarily need to be a good hand art or drawing artist. So if you see my templates, it's like, it's almost like a homage, but it's also simple, but it's also like effective and tells a story. That's kind of what I aim for. Not necessarily like, if you notice New Japan trading cards, they're just so all over the place and like all these different crazy graphics going on.
They're very busy.
They're very busy. I like less is more. And I like, that's why the old school stuff. And I always look at like, not even just wrestling trading cards. I'll look at trading cards from like the 80s, like the movies.
Sure.
Like, remember how movie trading cards were a big thing like back in the day?
Look at the 70s, man. They look like Star Wars, just a plain green border,
yeah.
red border, purple border. That's all it was.
But then if you look at the value, some of those cards still have as much value today as some of the other cards that are, you know what I mean? Like they're still valuable, despite how simple and looking they are, but they're still effective. So that's kind of my style.
Simplicity is best because, we have our first trading card coming out to help for donations to help fund the site and keep the site going.
For sure. Yeah.
We've been paying for the site out of pocket since 2002. So we want to move it over, give it more of an updated feel and bring it back up to date again. So I thought part of the reason would be like maybe doing a fundraiser of some kind, but I wanted to give back in order to just say, hey, give us money and all the money's going to go into, paying for the site. How about, give us some money and we'll give you something in return for it as well. Yeah. And so we have the Kevin Nash one will be the first trading card that we do. And that was a painting done by someone that I commissioned to do that. And then the card back, I was having such a bitch of a time trying to figure out how to do the card back. And then somebody,
it's tricky.
Somebody trying to see who it was. Somebody had recommended like, hey, simple is better. And they showed me a design of theirs like that on Twitter. And I was like, I had like this whole like concept, like having a faded back, because I use a lot of Photoshop myself. I do flyers and banners and for appearances like that. And again, I don't know, like people like you, I'm self-taught. I just, Google and YouTube it to learn something new,
Right.
And then I did something. I just said, I'm going to go to sleep. I don't like what I'm doing. I hate everything I look at. So I'm going to go to sleep. Wake up in the morning, try again. I woke up the next morning. I had the guy's thing in my mind going, simplicity is better. And all of a sudden I have this idea, boom, and stuck, and we like it.
Yeah, that's how it went for me, man. Because like I would see the back of those WCW cards and like it's very simple. They're not busy. They tell you the story of the wrestler and what's going on in the time frame of that wrestler and all that kind of thing. And that's what I liked about it. You know what I mean? And what I also enjoy now is the writing process on the back of the cards.
So on the back of the card, was it like a biography for them? Because I haven't seen the cards. I don't know. I've only seen
fronts. The back is like almost exactly like the WCW style, where it's like 2-3 paragraphs of writing. Sure. So the first set, I did almost all of them. And then the next year, like, bro, like these people came up to like, we're your friends. We can help you out with the writing. We're just as passionate. So we would get guest writers. And then by 2018, like we had like Jim Smallman write for one of them and some other random people. I think we had someone else write for Darby. Rob Naylor wrote for Darby. So that was cool. Just all these little guest appearances. So that was kind of cool, because like it showed that like everyone has just the same passion as you do, especially with the writing and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And then when I was doing the writing for the spring break cards, it was me, Brett, my other buddy, and we were just kind of hashing it out, just trying to figure out what to write. And then we would just come up with these things. I wrote for the Rock and Roll Express on the back, and I would just put these old school references and stuff. And then some of the other wrestlers I didn't really know, like that would be Brett, and he would put all this stuff about putting the guy over. So, it's all about putting the person over. And I think that's what really important about the writing in the back of the card.
Yeah. Design is always, and sometimes, like I said, less is more. And I sometimes, especially if you're a new fan getting into the product and having like, oh, cool, I have a little bio on the back. Now I know about this guy already. Kind of, it's like baseball and football, man.
Yeah,
it's like
that's why I did it for Bola, because like all these people would come from out of town and not know these new wrestlers. Sure. And then when they got the card, they would read the back, and then like, okay, now I'm ready to watch the match because I know all about this guy now.
Now I had heard about the first set. You actually swapped somebody out. Did you swap somebody in and out? Like you had someone, you put someone in and said, no, he's not with us anymore. It's like that or something like that?
Oh, yeah, that usually happens with PWG because the people are always missing stuff. I know in 2018, Riddle was supposed to be in it, and I already made the card, and then he got signed, and then I think I replaced him with Trevor Lee that year, so there's a Trevor Lee card. Same thing with Sammy Guevara. I think he wasn't supposed to be in it.
That's the one I'm talking about, yeah.
Sammy Guevara, yeah, I have a box somewhere. People are hitting me up, but like, because I printed extra 2 days before when they announced him, like, can we get this done? But at the time, like in PWG, he wasn't really popular. He was kind of like a heel to the crowd. So I was
Sure.
like, oh man, if I give these cards out, are they gonna rip them up in his face or they're gonna throw them
Yeah.
away? So I mean, I gotta find them, but there's like I have a stack somewhere that I reserved for the show, and not really a lot of people wanted. But that was 2018 when he was like not really liked by the crowd. So if anyone
I
wants
might
them,
be
just
inclined to
hit me
hit
up
you
because I
up
gotta
for
find the
one.
box. For sure. But you know those white boxes that come in. You know,
Sure.
it's somewhere. It's just you can see in the background.
Like something like this.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of them somewhere in my house.
I might have to hit you up, man. I don't have any of those cards like that, and I'd love to
Yeah, I
actually.
mean, I don't think I have any extras at all because I'm looking at my shelf and I just have the one of each, and
Mhm.
I think that's it. Like, usually I'll get extras and then, my friends and stuff like that, but they go quick. Like, from what I
Yeah,
heard, the ones I made for GCW this past year, for their Japan tour, I made a set for the Japan tour, and I think 2-3 weeks later they were gone, like sold
that's
out
awesome.
completely.
That's
So,
awesome.
limited run, yeah.
Do you have numbers as far as what you've printed
Um,
for each? Because I mean, when the time comes and we're gonna update our website. We're gonna
Yeah,
obviously
I have a list
provide
somewhere on my
checklists.
laptop. Yeah, the checklist. I think I have my old laptop, but um, off the top of my head, it was like I think I've done 9 sets total. Like GCW, I've done
Well, I'm saying like the first
4.
PWG set. How many were printed for that set? I
Oh,
mean,
for that, was 36.
only
30.
36 sets?
No, no, no. Oh, how many sets total?
Yeah,
Shit. I think it was like 150.
150 sets. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of around the number we did each year, 150 to 200. And then high spots would print probably a little more, maybe less, because they would ship all around the U.S.
Is there a difference between what you printed, what high spots ended up printing, or how's a collector know which version they have?
So if you go to the live show, you'll get a special plastic case that I personally handed out. High spots will give you like a box, like a paper box, but the ones that I gave you at 2018, like a special collector plastic case. And then some of the chase cards were I don't know if they put them all available through high spots because I didn't ask them, but usually when I make a chase card, I'll only put it in one chase card in each set, and there's before chase cards, right? So then like the Pokemon thing, right?
Sure.
So those are 4, so that would have been 28, I think, for 2018. I think that was like the consistent number for the Bolas. So like 28 cards, 24 for the competitors, and 4 chase cards.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then 150 sets live, and then I don't know how high spots did it, but
And they did
there's
a chase
probably
card. They
around
did
there.
chase cards too, as well, in their sets. Like they mimicked exactly what you did for the
Yeah,
shows.
they just took all my designs and reprinted them for their set, and then I think they put all 4 in there. And I'm not the one to make that
Sure.
decision. I told them like you can do what you want, but I would recommend just one. But I think they just did it just to sell more,
Put
kind
them
of
out.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just curious to know and wondering how many sets they produced. So what if I'm a collector and I'm buying something from someone, how do I know I'm getting the one I got from the show as opposed to what came from high spots? If it doesn't have a
right.
collector tin in it, like I'm just getting the cards
Yeah,
themselves raw.
yeah. I think
Are
well,
they
the
the
ones that I
same
originally
card
had,
stock? Same card
it's same
stock?
card stock, I think, and I think the ones that I give out at the show have like a different thing because when I give out the show, like I put them in the plastic, what do you call it, deck holders, those
Sure.
ones that hold sets. So that was like the first 2 years, and then the third year is when I did the plastic tin. So
Okay.
if you get those, then that's probably the one directly from the show.
Sure.
And then the ones from high spots, if you happen to get a set and you have all the chase cards, then it's probably from high spots because they were the ones giving all the chases.
Gotcha. Interesting. So when you're only doing one chase card per set, so basically you had to get 4 sets and hope you got 4 different chase cards, correct?
Well, my intention was I wanted people to trade at the shows, and that's what I saw people doing. Like I got because remember the first Pokemon movie came out and they had these trading cards, and I remember when I saw the movie, all the kids before the movie were trading to make sure they got all the cards, right?
Yes.
So that's what I wanted. So the first show, I was like, okay, you want this chase card? I'm not going to give it to you. You have to trade with that guy who's got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then people were like trading beer and like it was hilarious. So that's why I wanted it specifically that way for people to have that nostalgic feeling of trading again. And it was like every year, like I think the hottest one was Legion Larry, the guy who runs the Reseda building.
Sure.
That was like the hottest chase card. And yeah, I think that was the best one I made.
So if you did 150 sets of 24, how many of each of the 4 chase are there?
Floating around, I want to say probably a 25% of that number. So what, maybe 30 or 40, maybe floating around out there.
So 30 of each, 40 of each?
Yeah, something like that in terms of the chases. Like I said, High Spots, I don't know how many they printed, but I know the ones I printed for the show, very far and few in between.
So
like
it's going to be an interesting checklist to put together, because hopefully when we get ready, I can contact you and you can help me put those
I'll
numbers
put
together.
the list together, yeah.
And then get a checklist, and then even images, just some images, so a collector can actually see what they look like.
For sure, yeah. I got all that stuff saved on my
Yeah.
laptop. I can send that to you, no problem.
But having that information, like how many sets were produced, how many of the chase were produced, all the little fun facts are kind of cool, so someone knows exactly what they're looking for and how to get it.
Yeah. The ones we're doing this year with GCW, like I'm working on a new set now for the Collective coming up in October.
I was gonna ask you what you're working on next.
Yeah. So like we're making sure that we're trying to make sure we know the exact amount now. So we're trying to like go beyond and like actually like calculate, and we're gonna have like 1 of 20, 2 of 20 with like a special foil stamp to know that, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, you're going full out. He's a full-on production company now.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone this far. Like Chris Smith, I mentioned, like he's been my rock on all these projects. He reached out to me. He's doing all the work printing them and stuff, and he keeps telling me just keep doing what you're doing, designing, and we'll work this out. And he's good making business decisions with Brett Lauderdale and stuff.
Sure.
So we're doing everything right. So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. And like I think the next step, we can't do holographics. That's the one thing, because he doesn't have a printer like that, because he works at a mom and pop print shop in Arkansas. So what we're trying to aim for is these metal cards. I guess he found like a metal plate thing that he can print on.
Sure.
So that's kind of our next step, is to do metal plated cards that are super, super limited. So I think that's the next step, if we can't do foil.
I got to figure out how to start getting these things from you guys, man, so we can have on the site or something like that. Just half of my personal collection too.
Well, I mean, GCW Merge pretty much had all my sets for GCW, and then I think once they're gone, because I don't think Brett wants to, mass produce so many. So I think GCW Merge is your probably best shot to get them. And then if you really want the PWG sets, I would recommend maybe High Spots and just email directly.
Sure.
Because from what I've heard, like my buddy texted me the other day, he's like, they're selling some of those sets on their auction. I was like, what? They still have some?
Yeah.
So I was like, check it out. I mean, if you want to, if you want to get those PWG cards.
Yeah.
Right now they're just gone.
Yeah, I'm looking for basically for images like that, just to have. But since you have all the images, you should have all the raw images anyway. So
yeah.
But that'd be cool. So yeah, this is exciting, man. I mean, it makes me really excited as a collector who hasn't collected them in a lot of time, especially with just wrestling cards.
Yeah.
It makes me excited to want to collect again.
Thank you. That's the feeling I wanted to bring back. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that there was this like nostalgic need for it until that first year, when everyone was like running up to me and like, I don't know you, but like, is there a way I can get a set? I'll buy you beer. And I was like, yeah.
Anybody ever ask you to sign a card?
No, but I've signed a few posters I've made by some people, and I was just like, yeah, man, of course I'll sign it for you. It was just kind of, I'm not the kind of guy that was just like looking out to brand myself. I'm not like a brand. I'm not going on Twitter making my own brand or anything like that. I do this for fun. I'm not looking.
But you created a brand now. You really have.
I mean, I kind of did, but I mean, I'm not looking out to make money. You know what I mean? I wanted to do it because people liked it, and I saw the smiles on people's faces, and that's what I wanted to bring. And sometimes you get inspired by like little things. Like in 2018, like I wanted to bring this up because of Chadwick Boseman, but 2018, I didn't know what to do for the cards. Right? I watched Black Panther. Right? The scene where all these different tribes have all these different color schemes, and I was like, that's it. Like every wrestler's gonna have a different color scheme to represent them and where they come from. So it's like little things like that where I watch a movie or something like that. That's what really gets me inspired. So it's not necessarily wrestling stuff, but like Black Panther really like changed the game for me in terms of like what to do with color and stuff. That's why the first two sets were like the same. It's the same template, but with that third set, it was just all different colors, and I wanted to elevate that.
So it's not just wrestling for you. It's anything, whatever inspires you for that kind of stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, because like those PWG posters I did, like I would just look at movie posters from back in the day and just kind of recreate those. And that's, I think nowadays, there's all these different wrestling posters and stuff, and all these different wrestling faces, and they're all like this and stuff. But
sure,
I much prefer the posters that are like movie posters that tell a story.
Yeah.
They're far more interesting. You know what I mean? That's my style.
Doing like an old Star Wars type one, like those Dave Dorman type paintings like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I've done a couple of those, and those seem to get the better reactions for people.
Well, those are very nostalgic right there yourself, because it reminds them of Star Wars. That's been around since the 70s.
Yeah. I did one for like Guardians of the Galaxy inspired, and everyone was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So I've noticed like, it's that nostalgia feeling. I think people get onto, and that's
well,
kind of
as a collector, you kind of really make guys like me who haven't collected in a long time want to collect again.
yeah. Thank you,
So,
thank you. That's what I wanted. So
it's pretty cool that you do that. So, well,
thank you.
I really appreciate you taking some time to sit down and talk about your sets. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your other sets coming out. But I'll
For
definitely
sure.
be in contact with you. We can talk through Twitter and stuff like that when we're ready to start doing some. I think that's the first thing we want to do is tackle the independent ones, because top
Yeah,
stuff is so fucking crazy to try to track down all the different stuff they do. They put out so
yeah,
much
yeah.
product.
I've
Uh,
seen so much on Twitter, all these different feeds and stuff. It's crazy.
it's just the different levels of inserts and the parallels. It's just, we'll get to it. Obviously, we've got guys who are on top of that kind of stuff to help us. But when it comes to start doing more updated stuff, I'm really looking forward to doing independent stuff
For
first.
sure, yeah.
So I'm
I got all that stuff saved up, so
looking
you're
forward to
ready to
getting
go.
that. Awesome, man. So I appreciate your time, man, and
Thank you for having me.
looking forward to your extra stuff coming out, man. I'm looking forward to all this stuff coming out.
Thank you. Yeah,
All right.
GCW, the collective, probably around October. So
And how can anybody? Is it just through Twitter? People can get a hold of you if they need, like
yeah,
anybody else want to get
just
a
hit
hold
me
of
up
you?
on Twitter. Yeah, Brian Ubben on Twitter, and
Uh-huh.
then just DM me. If you want some graphic design work done, maybe hit me up. Like I said, I'm not an illustrator, but I'm good at designing.
Sure.
I'm good at framing and telling stories. That's what I want
Sure.
to do. So,
Awesome, man. Well, I
all right,
appreciate it, and we'll be
thank
talking
you.
soon. Okay.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Out.